What up? This is Rama Screen covering movies, TV, and entertainment, and here's my review of Coming to America. Hey, before you watch my review, please subscribe to my channel, press that like button, and ring that bell so you can get notified whenever I post new videos. And if you would like to help support this channel, please do so at patreon.com/ramascreen. That's patreon.com/ramascreen. Let's rock this. It's been more than 3 decades since the first film, which to this day is still a fan favorite. The original always comes up whenever people compile their list of the funniest movies of all time. Well, I'm happy to tell you that I really enjoyed this sequel. The jokes are not consistently funny, but it retains that silly parody-fueled humor. And after all these years, both Arsenio and Eddie are still able to rock those multiple roles like they never left them at all. And the one who steals the scenes is Wesley Snipes. My goodness, him and his ridiculous army will crack you up. Scripted by Kenya Barris and Barry W. Blostein and David Shedfield, directed by Craig Brewer, set in the lush and royal country of Zamunda, newly crowned King Akeem and his trusted confidant Sami embark on an all-new adventure that has them traveling the globe from their great African nation to the borough of Queens, New York, where it all began, so that Akeem can find his long-lost son, who will then hopefully and potentially become their next heir to the throne. Starring Eddie Murphy, Arsenio Hall, Jermaine Fowler, Leslie Jones, Tracy Morgan, Shari Headley, Wesley Snipes, John Amos, and James Earl Jones. I still think that this movie should have had a subtitle or something. I mean, calling it Coming to America is a clever move, but in a verbal conversation among friends, you go, "Hey, have you watched Coming to America yet? Which one?" Then you'd have to show or do the hand or tell them it's the one with the number 2 in the middle of the title. It's just a hassle if you ask me. But I digress. This sequel is more about showing you Zamunda. The first film gave you plenty, but this one gives you plenty more. Speaking of more, holy smokes, the costumes on this one are so lavish. This sequel puts emphasis on big fashion and big parties and big cast ensemble and big celebrity singers. Grand, majestic, festive, jubilant. Those are the adjectives that will cross your mind because this movie keeps throwing them your way. Oscar-winning costume designer Ruth E. Carter and her team clearly went all out, and the whole thing looks like the Met Gala Zamunda style. The nostalgia aspect of this movie can be a bit heavy and overwhelming because non-stop flashbacks every other few minutes or so. But you know what? I'm not too irritated by it, mainly because the storyline does deal with heritage and legacy and pondering how far they've come, so the nostalgia makes sense for the purpose of passage of time. And that is also evident in Eddie Murphy's performance as King Akeem, who this time around seems more observant than hasty. If you're wondering, does today's woke culture affect this sequel? The answer is yes. But it's not a bad thing. The obvious part, of course, is the whole question of whether a woman can be the ruler of Zamunda, but they also flip the jokes from the first movie and give it a gender switch. And it works because when it's Leslie Jones who does it, she always delivers. Some of Arsenio and Eddie's other multiple characters don't change in terms of their humor, but this film does point them out. So you have that as its counterbalance, if you will. Look, I could go on and on and on, but I'll end on this. Overall, this is an enjoyable sequel. It may not be the funniest sequel, but there's a lot about this follow-up that honors everything that you loved about the first movie, while putting a contemporary spin to it, a necessary update. And hey, if all else fails, there's at least Wesley Snipes and his peculiar walk that will put a smile on your face.